All hands on deck, it's your host here, the TCG Pirate King, aka the Gaming Governor, and today we're going to be changing the rules of last week's video. I had mentioned that I was going to be giving away 3 cards, and those 3 cards were going to be won by someone who was both a subscriber and a commenter at the bottom of that first video, giving their impression of their favorite artwork from Double Masters 2022. I am now here to tell you that not only am I changing the contest rules, however, I am actually going to be adding the prize pool. So here is how we're going to do this. First of all, you must be a subscriber to win. Second of all, you must know every single card in this box. And I'm going to let you know that there are 3 cards that I said I was going to be giving out, and I mentioned those cards. I showed them in the first video, and those 3 cards are in this white box. So you're going to have to go to the first video if you are unaware of what those first 3 cards are, and click to see what those cards were. Now, moving on, I am going to juice the pool. First, I'd like to show you guys, I'm going to be adding a card called Path to Exile. This is the Magic Fest promo. This is an instant speed that says exile target creature, your opponent gains 3 life. This is an absolutely powerful card. I love it. It's used in so many decks. I recommend that you get this into your deck, into your collection if you don't already have it. I'm also going to be, for those of you of your nostalgic players, I'm going to be throwing in Balduvian Hydra. This is an old reserve list card, so expect it to appreciate in value over time. It is in near mint condition, and it is from Ice Age. I will also be adding Karlach, Fury of Avernus. This is a card that got very little appreciation because it was in a set called Battle for Baldur's Gate. However, it is a mythic. It's very hard to find, and this is a very powerful card, guys. Whenever you attack, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap all attacking creatures. You do not have to attack with Karlach. They gain first strike until the end of the turn, and after this phase, there is an additional combat phase. This is a very powerful card that can completely turn and change the tide of battle in your favor. It does say choose a background, but that does not matter. You do not need to make it into a commander. Idyllic Tutor is also a very nice card. This is one of the tutors. In fact, it is probably the second best white tutor next to Enlightened Tutor. This will search for any enchantment. Reveal it and put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. There are more and more really powerful enchantments in the game. There are enchantment gods, and thanks to Battle for Baldur's Gate, as we've already mentioned, there is now Legion Loyalty, and Legion Loyalty is the top end for white. That is basically, people are saying, the new Craterhoof for white. If you want to look that up, it says that all creatures you control have Myriad. I'm also going to be adding to this prize pool Karn's Bastion. This was a promo foil from War of the Spark. You tap it for colorless and pay 4 to proliferate. This proliferation will work on your loyalty counters. It'll work on your poison counters on your opponent. It'll also work on all your +1/+1 counters and any other counters you want to use. Like, for example, if you read that Balduvian Hydra that was in my hand earlier, you can add the +1/+0 counters onto Balduvian Hydra even faster, making it harder and harder to deal damage to it. And finally, we're going to also be adding Soul Ring. This is a Commander Precon. This is a specialty foil. It's absolutely beautiful. It's in near mint condition. And I'm also going to be adding this. We all know what Soul Ring does, but just because it is in my hand, I'm going to read it real quick. It is 1 for an artifact. It is tapped for 2 colorless mana. It goes in so many decks. This I can see being a bling in anyone's Commander deck. These are the cards that are so far added into this pile. If you want to know the first 3 cards, I highly recommend you check out the first video that I released for Magic the Gathering. And moving on with the topic at hand, I will now be going over cards that I have purchased and have gotten in the mail this last week. All right, now we're diving on in. And as you can see, these are the assortment of cards that I was able to pick out for the week of what I purchased. And we're going to be going over in a little bit of a random kind of fashion where I'm just going to pick out from the pile. As far as multiple copies of cards. The only pile of cards that is actually a playset is this 4 in the back. Everything else is a single card, and we will be going over everything that I purchased. So first up on this list I'm going to show is going to be Tasha's Hideous Laughter. I am really disappointed in this. I ordered it at near mint, and I actually got it, as you can see, damaged at the bottom. I already have contacted the buyer. However, the reason I picked this card up is because each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until that player has exiled cards with total mana value 20 or more. This is each opponent. This is wonderful in a game of Commander, especially with as good as mill strategies are starting to become. There are more and more things that do this. In fact, I can even see myself playing this in my Vampire deck, my Evelyn deck, just because it's another way for me to speed up the return on exiling my opponent's decks. Now, granted, I won't be able to use those cards because Tasha's Hideous Laughter will just be getting rid of them, but when you factor in how much of the cards I've already been stealing, this is just a way to mill them down even further. So not only have I stolen their cards, but this is the kind of thing that you can do as a seal them away. You have now not only stolen half of their deck, you have taken a quarter of their deck, and you have left them with almost none of their resources left. So I highly recommend picking this card up. The reason why I'm recommending it more than anything besides its power level is that I saw it was trending lately. It went up from $3 to $7. I've been seeing it for as low currently as around $5. Do not miss out on this, guys. It's a very powerful card, and I think that you would enjoy this. The next card that we're going to be going over is... Brave the Sands. This is a very nice enchantment. I don't know if people know about this one. In fact, there's 2 enchantments in here that are kind of similar, and I think that that'll actually be this one, so I'm actually going to pull them both. So these are both white enchantments that are 1 and a white that just allows you to have vigilance, basically. And I really like that for a lot of Battle Matters decks. If people aren't aware of this, this is from Weatherlight. This is Sarah's Blessing. Attacking does not cause creatures you control to tap. So this is kind of cool because, again, you are basically vigilant at that point. I picked up a playset of 4 of these, and 1 went into my wife's white deck, and 1 went into my Mardu deck. I really like this. I recommend you guys pick that up. It's a very cheap card. And another really cheap card, and I'm talking like these cards are about 30 cents to $1 each, maybe even cheaper, actually. And this is Brave the Sands. Creatures you control have vigilance, which is the same thing as what we just read. However, each creature you control can block an additional creature. This is going to ruin Menace, but on top of that, this is how you can just... Can you imagine Death Touch on a 2/2 and just blocking 2 creatures? This is great in Orzhov. I can't wait to get nasty with this, honestly. Next on the list, we're going to be looking at, Mentor of the Meek. Again, my wife's white deck, and that's pretty much what these white sleeves are. She has using a mono-white human deck. Now, it's not entirely human tribal, but it is mono-white, and mostly human. Mentor of the Meek just liked the artwork, and this needed to go into her deck, so we picked one up from Double Masters 2022. Relatively cheap card. I think it was about 37 cents for this full art borderless. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1 mana if you do draw a card. Very similar to the new Welcoming Vampire that just came out, only you don't have to pay mana. The only thing is that when we were talking about the 2 cards together, and even potentially playing the 2 together, she pointed out that first of all it was a vampire and not a human, so already we were trying to stay as close to human as possible, even if we do occasionally tip out of it. But the thing is that it only triggered once per each player's turn, whereas this gave her a little more flexibility of just pay the mana and do it as often as possible instead of once per turn. So they're both good, but really I think it came down to more than anything the fact that it was a vampire and not a human. And I believe this is the final card that was going into her deck, or currently is in her deck, I should say. It is Cemetery Protector. I picked this up for about $2. It's from Crimson Vow, and it's a wonderful card. It's got Flash, which is probably the best thing about this card. It says, when Cemetery Protector enters the battlefield, exile a card from a graveyard. It could be any graveyard. Whenever you play a land or cast a spell, if it shares a card type with the exiled card, create a 1/1 white human creature token. So this is just going to keep spamming out creatures. I like a lot of these protector cards. Cemetery Prowler, Cemetery Protector, Cemetery, just all these cards. The whole cycle. There's a blue one that was a spirit. the whole cycle is pretty nutty, and I like them just for nice little effects, especially because they exile cards from the graveyard. So it's like I don't like what you're about to do with your graveyard recursion. I'll just flash this, exile your creature, and then when I cast a creature or even a land, I'm just going to start spamming out of field. So yeah, definitely like that card. And I believe I'm actually wrong. Yes, I am. This is the final card. This just came in, and it needs to go into a white sleeve. This is going into her white deck, and her white deck's now going to be complete, actually. We actually cared about this because of white pips as well, because we use a Nyx Lotus for mana production in white. It has Vigilance, which is wonderful. Adeline, Resplendent Cathar's power is equal to the number of creatures you control. With us spamming out a whole bunch of creatures, including with the Cemetery Protector, it's going to be pretty easy. And whenever you attack for each opponent, create a 1/1 white human creature token that's tapped and attacking that player or a planeswalker they control. So right away you're going to attack, and when you attack you're going to have 3 opponents, so that's going to be 3 1/1 white creature tokens, right? So those 3 creature tokens on top of the 2 that Cemetery Protector gave you. Adeline's power is equal to the number of creatures you control, so we got 1, we got 2 from the Cemetery Protector, then we got 2 creatures from the Cemetery Protector that were made, so that's a total of 4, and then another 3 off of Adeline, so we got 7, so this is a 7 power when it hits just off 2 creatures. I'm pretty happy about that, actually. I think I'm actually going to go back here now, and we're going to take a look. Another white card. I guess I was just really liking white for a minute there. Hashtag White Madness. So anyway, Leeches. This was a card that actually got recommended to me through MTG Mox, man. And it's great because I loved it as soon as I saw this card, because this is the kind of card that people are going crazy for right now with Dominaria United coming out. And the thing you got to wonder is that this is target player loses all poison counters. Leeches deals 1 damage to that player for each poison counter removed this way. It takes 10 poison counters to kill someone. I will gladly take 9 actual damage to prevent myself from losing, even if I've got 30 life. You know what I mean? So this is the kind of card that a lot of people are going to be playing against Phyrexians, and the funny thing is that I specifically bought these just to keep them off of the market. I don't like this. I am a Phyrexian madman, and I don't want to see my opponents using this. So goodbye to this. All right, let's take a look at this card, the one in the middle. That's the one you guys were pointing at, right? I picked up Call of the Bloodline. Actually, I picked up 2 of this card. I got the regular one in foil, and I got this promo one in foil. I like the regular one, I think, a little bit more, but I still wanted to get both just because I like Olivia as a character. She's kind of a bitch goddess, which kind of fun. So she is an enchantment here. 1, discard a card and create a 1/1 black vampire knight creature token with lifelink. Activate this ability only once each turn. This is wonderful in a knight deck. This is wonderful in vampire decks. So exactly that. I picked up 1 copy for my wife. She is making a Mardu Knights deck, so this will fit in there perfectly. And the artwork for this card really fit her well because it is very much a knight-centric theme of art where Olivia is sitting on her steed. And the other one that I picked up for me, which is more of my Vampire Tribal Evelyn deck for the vampire hitting the battlefield, I used the one where she's bestowing a sword onto a vampire and like turning them into a vampire. So it's like this art was more her and the other art was more me. So it kind of worked out for us. All right, let's take a look at this one now. Going on a lift. Oh, Body Launderer. I was able to pick up 1 in foil. That's right. So this is a card you might remember in the first video, and if you don't, I highly recommend checking out that first video that I recommended it then, and I have good reasons for why I recommended it then, and I go over that in full detail in the first video. I highly recommend checking that out because this is a card you do not want to miss, and it will tell you why. So we're going to take a look at this card that came in the mail. It is Anya Falconwrath. Now, I had picked up a whole bunch of vampires because I was trying to juice up my Evelyn deck, and I ended up not getting this card for the Evelyn deck, but specifically because I like Anya. I just wanted to be able to build her one day, not even for Vampire Tribal, but for Madness. I like her. I'm not going to build a commander deck around her, but I want to be able to throw her into a Rakdos deck in the future. So I picked her up before she starts going crazy with price, because she is only from the commander set, I believe. She might be on the list, but either way, I don't want to risk her jumping up to an $80 card just because everybody owns one except for me. And the final card, or cards, I'm going to talk about today. This was another good idea that I had to pick up. This is Yavi Maya, Cradle of Growth. And the reason I picked these cards up, I picked up 2 in extended art and 2 in regular, is because these are absurdly cheap right now. They're only about $8 a pop. And these are going to be as big as Uborg in the future. Uborg is a between $30 and $50 card, and I feel like that's even going to be going back up because it recently, I believe, got it actually dipped, and then now it's coming back up. And I feel like Yavi Mile is going to basically start to climb now that it's been about a year and a half since Modern Horizons 2, and with more legend loving cards coming out in Dominaria United, I feel like legendary lands in particular are going to be going real nutty real soon. In fact, this is the kind of thing that I really like. Should I give one of these away? What do you guys think? Comment down below. I'm thinking that to honor the fact that this is the beginning of our journey together, it's only the first couple weeks, first month, I kind of want to embark, say that this is a sign of good growth for the channel together. And I'm thinking, write a comment down below, guys. Which one do you want to see? Each land is a forest in addition to its other types. Which one of these do you want to see me add to the little white box? Do you want to see an extended art, or do you want to see a regular art? Do you like the border more? Do you like the flair that there's Karn right here? Karn says, Multani's heart is a seed, and all of Yavi Maya is its flower. There is as much life here as in the rest of Dominaria together. So, knowing that, do you guys like the art, or do you like the flair? I kind of like the flavor more, but we'll see. Maybe you guys are more into the extended art. Maybe you guys like the flavor as much as I do. Then again, maybe I like the extended because it's a simple box. But let me know in the comments down below, guys. I think I'm going to add one of these to the white box in the next video based on comments underneath this one. So anyway, guys, I want to thank you for joining me today. It's been a short week because I had family down, so I wasn't able to spend a lot of time looking at the market. I'm just here to comment on the cards I was able to pick up in the first 3 days. So I'm about 3 days behind on the current trends. However, I will be doing a lot of studying and getting back to you guys on Monday next. Also look forward to a Pirates video coming up as well. Don't forget, I am also covering One Piece, the trading card game. Until next time, guys, it's always a lot of fun, and I want to see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.